For my sensational book, Cockfight Loser, available on Amazon by me, Christopher Pasquale Maluso, I have a poem called Pops. It's a quantum modern poem. I usually steer away from anything quantum modern, but this nonce form is particularly good and it worked well, so I threw it into this poetry book of mostly iambic tetrameter poetry. So, we're going to give this quantum poem a shot for you. It's called Pops. Pops was owned by Pops. Nobody knew his real name. Oops, Pops had no apostrophe. Pops said it fell off the awning, or the workmen forgot it, or something. Gangs would deal their pills at Pops. Neighborhood thieves spat on Pops. Pops spat on the thieves. Pops said he'd pop those pushers. Pops didn't fool around. Pops fooled around with young girls. Pops knocked one up before she set up Pops to be knocked over. Pops got knocked over a lot. Pops stood up straight and tall. Pops was always broken into. Nobody could break Pops. Pops looked all dented like the gumball machine in front. Someone took a hammer to Pops. Pops could not be hurt. Pops screamed out in agony. Pops hardly made a sound. Pops greeted days through taped-up windows. Night wore his moth-eaten wool cap. Pops was bald like the full moon. Pops combed his hairs one by one. Pops had hair just like the moon, eared by clouds, one here, one there. In the ambulance, Pops punched the paramedic. Pops hugged the kid who slugged him. He kissed Pops on the cheek. Pops never showed any emotion. Pops hated the animals for dealing drugs at Pops. They were always making coin. They'd ask Pops for a loan sometimes. Pops threw soda cans at them. They respected Pops for that. They hated Pops for that. They called Pops a poor old man. They figured Pops was rich and stingy. Pops smoked cigarettes with the animals. He grew bored and talked to himself. Pops was never much for talking. Pops spoke 8 languages. Pops barely understood a word at all. Pops always said just what he meant. Pops never took his eyes off the animals. Pops turned his backs on them, even when he wanted to watch them even closer. Pops eyed every move the animals made. Pops conducted sociological studies, secret asides, and dramaturgic experiment. Pops made terrible coffee everyone bought. Pops managed to get by doing everything just right. Pops cut corners when he could. Pops hated the store. Pops lived in Pops. The store kept Pops alive. Pops kept the store alive. Pops took pride in how he worked Pops. He'd sell stuff through the gate when he didn't open up. Sometimes when he opened up, he wouldn't sell a thing. The animals chased his customers. Pops would chase the animals. One day this Russian guy walked in and helped Pops run them out. Pops was Italian and hated the Russians for being just like the Italians. Pops had a love of life. All the neighborhood was family, and Pops hated everyone equally. There was Greek Zeke, who made quick stops at Pops. He got shot at 16. He got shot at 17. He got shot at 18. He got shot at 20. He died in an accident last year that Pops said he saw coming. Pops said he was blindsided. For $5 Fragamento, shoplifted batteries and handballs, said he'd come back to even up. $5 came back to buy Pops out, but Pops said he just came in and stole a carton of cigarettes. $5 said, I gave him 5. You couldn't help but be drawn to Pops. You couldn't help wanting to get away. Pops was natural ecology, even though Pops wasn't from here. Pops would disappear for lengths of time. Pops was here longer than anybody. Pops had floors with craters. The ceilings had stalactites. Alien creatures were encountered at Pops, as strange as you or I. Everything was greenish-gray. Everything was grayish-green under the flickering bug lights. Pops said he didn't mind the buzzing bugs, but that he also didn't mind the buzzing lights. Pops didn't care about a lot of things, maybe because Pops cared about a few. People were shopping more and more. People were shopping less at Pops. Things were getting better and better. Things were changing for the worse. Then there were the kaleidoscope cop cars, and everybody showing up and running away simultaneously at Pops. Even his wife showed up, yammering, waving his teeth. Pops said he didn't have dentures. Pops said he didn't have a wife. Pops might have a wife where he was going. Pops might be a wife. Pops called his wife esposa and querida. She was French. No one had a chance with Pops. No one had a chance, not Pops. Everyone had their chance. Everyone had their rights read. Even the dentures got their rights read. Nobody was right that night. Tonight, anybody was right. Some said Pops sold beer to a minor. Some said Pops had sex with a minor. Some said Pops was a miner in the old country back when he was young. Some said Pops was never young. Some said the animals turned Pops. Some said the cops were the animals. How many stories in our heads? How few of these stories we tell? How few stories in our heads? What wonderful stories we tell. And we never understand the whole intact with opposites as fast fact, or we say something at last as a last defense against believing. So I believe, so I say, I might be all wrong in my story about that old man who gave away candles and ice in the blackout and pencils to kids in the fall. After Pops left, Pops remained, but Pops was never Pops again. How Pops wasn't what Pops was on that day they made old Pops. When Pops opened up, they shut him down. When they shut him down, then Pops began. And that's what you're going to catch if you buy Cockfight Loser, a bunch of iambic tetrameter that's clever and quick and modern, but also some nonce forms, that modern poem, that quantum poem called Pops that I just read about the little old man who you never could make out. Was he a gangster? Was he a rapist? Was he a charitable guy giving stuff away for free? Was he a member of a gang? Was he a member of the cops? Who was Pops? Maybe he never existed. Maybe he existed differently to everyone. And as you begin to describe Pops, you begin to sound quantum yourself, because Pops was a quantum kind of dude. And that's the back of my poetry book. The poetry book seeks to use object relations theory to access the inevitability of language, big Harold Bloom concept, something nobody else is really doing right now, my kind of poetry. I'm a retired licensed psychologist, a poet, playwright, and a comedian. Lived in Brooklyn most of my life, and I finished this tome and a lot of stout during COVID. So go on Amazon. Buy Cockfight Loser if you want some very modern iambic tetrameter, something Shakespeare would be proud of, and some interesting quantum nonce form poetry. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed this. Take care.